Live from our studio in Springfield, you're watching News Channel 20 at 6.
A fatal phone call
Time for your help, y'all.
leading to a deadly response.
I'm gonna go get my kit. No, your headshot, dude. You're done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
Now, 1 year later, Sonya Massey's family still dealing with the grief of losing her.
I'm always getting ready to call her. Remember that she's gone.
As Sangamon County keeps pushing for reforms in her memory.
I hope that one day that they can look at the sheriff's office and believe that there were changes made.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of News Channel 20 at 6. It has now been 1 year since Sonya Massey was shot and killed in her own home by then Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson. Over the next half hour, we'll be looking at how Sonya's death has impacted both her family and our community. I'm joined by our Monique Davis, who has not only sat with Sonya's family, but has also kept up with pivotal moments in Grayson's criminal case and the efforts to keep something like this from happening again.
That's right. The months-long push for action started with a phone call. 36-year-old Sonya Massey had called 911 to report a prowler outside her home on Hoover Avenue. Two deputies responded, Sean Grayson and a second deputy whose name has not been made public. The body camera footage shows that after circling the home, the deputies spoke with Sonya to report they did not find anything and entered her home. While inside, Sonya was asked to remove hot water from her stovetop, leading what should have been a routine interaction to turn violent.
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Grayson pulling his service weapon, later claiming that Sonya threatened him with the hot water. He fired the shots that killed her less than 10 seconds after drawing his weapon. Massey was pronounced dead at the hospital at 1:47 a.m. 11 days after Massey's death, Sean Grayson was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. Grayson was also fired from the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. Now, Monique, you've spoken to the family, you've gotten to know them over the past year, and you actually got to speak for the first time with Sonya's daughter. That's right. It's definitely been a bittersweet year. One of the memories that will always stick with me is Sonya Massey told me that Sonya said, I'm going to be famous one day. I'm going to change the world. And he would be like, Sonya, like, what are you talking about? I don't know about all that. But he said, in a way, she kind of did, because now everyone is saying her name. And after spending time with the family members over the last few days, I've learned that their grief is still fresh, but they all cope in different ways.
Still don't feel real to me. I wake up some days with it on my mind, be like, dang, my mom really dead. And then I just go on by my day. I just try not to really think about it too much.
It's been 1 year since Sonya Massey, a woman who played many roles in life, such as a mother and daughter, was shot and killed in her home. Sonya's dad, Mr. James Wilburn, says his grief is still fresh.
You would think that the hurt of this situation would have alleviated some, but I can tell you that it doesn't.
Facing the reality that her mom is no longer alive can be difficult for Jeanette Summer Massey. Jeanette's father, Mr. Jimmy Crawford, says he's doing everything possible to help her cope.
We don't have no pictures of Sonya up in the house because Summer is not comfortable. Not because it's her mom, because it feels like somebody watching her. I had planned on doing something for her, but I got to wait till Summer comfortable.
Sonya's mom, Ms. Donna Massey, says seeking justice for her daughter keeps their family busy, but spending time together helps them to cope.
We will gather, we'll play some music, we'll dance, we'll have a good time.
We'll eat. And we'll just decide which house we're going to go to next.
Mr. Wilburn proudly remembers Sonya as a daddy's girl who never ended their phone calls without saying, I love you. Wilburn says he has to remain strong, knowing his grandkids and other daughters depend on him.
They have helped because it lets me know that I've got to keep going on. I got to keep going for them.
During Sonya's funeral, Ms. Donna says she didn't go up to view her body because she didn't want that to be the last image she had of her daughter.
To me, she's still very much alive, and I'm always getting ready to call her, and I remember that she's gone, so she's still here to me.
The Massey family says Sonya's son Malachi is still having a hard time dealing with the death of his mom. But one thing he misses about her is her cooking.
And we'll continue to hear more about how the family and the community has supported Sonya's family over the past year coming up later in the show. Now, we also sat down with Sheriff Paula Crouch for this special. While there hasn't been a formal meeting between the sheriff and the Massey family, Sheriff Crouch did have this message for her family and the community.
Sorry's a word. You know, that's really where we're at. Sorry's just a word. There's nothing that I can say as Paula Crouch or as Sheriff Crouch to lessen the impact of what happened to her family, her kiddos, you know.
Sheriff Crouch going on to say that her actions leading the sheriff's office is the best apology she can give the family.
I hope that one day that they can look at the sheriff's office and believe that there were changes made that made the sheriff's department a better place, that made the deputies, and not just the Sangamon County Sheriff's deputies, all police in our area, more aware, and for them to improve their response to people that are dealing with crisis, and that one day they'll see that her life did matter to all of us.
Sheriff Crouch took over the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office in September of last year, just over 2 months after Sonya's death. Former Sheriff Jack Campbell resigned amid backlash after the shooting and his response to it. Crouch was selected from a pool of candidates. She had previously worked with the Sheriff's Office as a dispatcher and worked as a lieutenant with the Springfield Police Department.
Crouch tells us it was her past working with the sheriff's office that made her want to take up the post.
She knew change was needed and was ready to face the challenge of restoring the community's trust in the agency.
I'm trying to rebuild. I'm in a rebuilding mode.
Sheriff Paula Crouch knew she was facing an uphill battle when taking over the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office.
This one incident doesn't define on who the sheriff's office is, and I hope that by becoming sheriff that I could help improve that image and really bring the community back to having the trust in the sheriff's office that really they deserve.
Her mission, reforming the agency and rebuilding trust with the community, particularly when it came to residents' concerns over hiring practices and training for deputies.
For me, it was improving the type of training and really trying to give the deputies the opportunity to have more in-person trainings rather than Zoom or online trainings.
In recent months, every deputy underwent de-escalation training at the Macon County Law Enforcement Training Center. Crouch says dealing with mental health situations is also a major issue she wants to address in the future.
Yeah, we have pretty significant number of our calls deal with mental health or some kind of substance abuse that then oftentimes causes the spiral into some mental health crisis.
Her push for in-person training has extended to reforms to the sheriff's office hiring practices, with investigators visiting any past departments where applicants have worked instead of relying on phone calls.
When we go in person, we're also oftentimes allowed to look at those personnel files to see what exactly is in there, because you know what's important to one law enforcement person might be a little different than what we're looking for in a personality trait for our deputies here.
But Crouch says while progress has been made, she expects the work to continue for quite some time.
We are not where we were before this time last year with trust in the community, but I think that we've taken a step towards the right direction in improving from where we were shortly after.
Sheriff Crouch says there are other changes and reforms in the works for the sheriff's office, including several involving potential partnerships with Memorial Health in improving access to mental health services in both the jail and for deputies themselves.
Right now, Sean Grayson is still in custody. His trial is set to start this October in Peoria County. The defense asked for the case to be moved out of Sangamon County, saying Grayson could not get a fair trial in Sangamon County due to the extensive coverage of the case. Community activist Teresa Haley says they are working on making sure Sonya's family and their supporters are able to attend the trial in person.
We've looked into renting vans and taking as many people as possible and having a caravan and traveling back and forth every single day, and maybe having Sonya Massey's picture or posters put on the side of these vehicles.
Grayson's trial will begin on October 20th. There's no word on how long it could last.
Still ahead on this special edition of News Channel 20 at 6, looking at the impact.
It wasn't about race, it was about unity, it was about justice.
As the community rallied around Sonya Massey's family and their push to hold Sean Grayson accountable.
Plus, setting a precedent as Grayson's push for pretrial release could impact the state for years to come.
Welcome back. Sean Grayson's murder trial is not the only legal case he's tied to.
Right now, the Illinois Supreme Court is considering arguments on if Grayson should be released from jail before his trial in October. A Sangamon County judge originally denied him pretrial release on grounds that he was a danger to the community.
While the appellate court overturned the ruling, the Illinois Supreme Court allowed the state's attorney to appeal, with arguments made before the Supreme Court in May. Now, the ruling by the Illinois Supreme Court could impact future cases and questions about how pretrial release petitions are handled.
A criminal law professor at the U of I says it will set a precedent for Illinois judges, especially since the Pretrial Fairness Act has been in effect for less than 2 years.
When they decide a case, obviously we're interested in the result in the individual case, who won, who lost. But more interesting for lawyers is whatever the court says about the reasons for resolving the case the way they have is something that's going to apply in future cases as well.
Professor Eric Johnson goes on to say one of the more interesting aspects of Grayson's case is the argument that the shooting happened while he was on duty, with his attorneys arguing he is no longer a danger because he was fired from the sheriff's office.
So one of the things that I think the Illinois Supreme Court's going to have to resolve is whether that's right, whether we need to think of this, even though this was an extremely violent and troubling alleged crime, whether we need to consider the fact that it occurred within this relatively narrow context.
Johnson expects the Supreme Court to issue a ruling before Grayson's criminal trial. Otherwise, any opinion would be moot.
Coming up, support from the community, the impact people around the world have had as Sonya Massey's family continues to grieve. And we are taking a look over the capital city with our Flooring America Tower camera. We're going to get a check with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke after the break. Days after Sonya Massey was killed, the Springfield community rallied together to honor her name and seek justice for her death.
That's right. Over the last year, community members have made it a point to continue to show up for Massey's family, with support pouring in worldwide.
Our Springfield community, it wasn't about race, it was about unity, it was about justice. It was about fighting for all victims here in our community.
Justice for Sonya Massey signs sit in the windows of many Springfield businesses and stand on many lawns in the capital city. From balloon releases to protests outside of Grayson's court hearings, community members have rallied together to keep Sonya's name alive.
As her mom said, she was the straw that broke the camel's back. This has been going on in this community for hundreds of years now. But Sonya's case just really took it over the top.
As Sonya's death made national headlines, her father, James Wilburn, says support started pouring in from all over the world.
I've had a chance to talk to people in Sweden, the Netherlands, all over the world. I found out that people in Africa, everybody knows about this tragedy.
In 3 months, Sonya's family will have to relive every detail of her death as they travel to Peoria for Grayson's trial. Wilburn says the Peoria community has already embraced them with open arms.
President of the NAACP there in Peoria has let me know that they're making all preparation for us to come there so that we will be comfortable throughout that whole trial and for however long it takes.
After Sonya's passing, public figures such as former Vice President Kamala Harris, Reverend Al Sharpton, and Governor Pritzker spoke out about her tragic death.
The Storm Team Weather Desk, sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
Good evening, everyone. This past holiday weekend really turned out to be very warm and very humid, very sticky across the region, and we'll have more heat and humidity to contend with for the next few days. Now, granted, today not as warm as what it was this past weekend, but even so, it'll be pretty warm and toasty for the next several days. We're looking for some seasonably warm temperatures with our highs mainly mid to upper 80s that will continue for the rest of the week. But the big problem will be the humidity, because the humidity very, very sticky and sultry, and it looks as if that humidity will likely start to build, especially as we approach Friday. For tomorrow, for a good part of the afternoon, feels like temperatures in the heat index values low to mid 90s. It'll be a toasty one, and you might want to be heading off to the swimming pools tomorrow. If that's the case, I think we'll be dry for the morning, but by the afternoon hours, you'll have to keep an eye to the sky because there will be a chance to see some scattered showers and storms. We're still tracking that cold front that came through the area over the weekend, stalling out right now nearby our area. Then some low pressure areas moving in along with it, and that's going to keep our weather rather unsettled for the next few days. Tonight, though, partly cloudy skies and just a slim chance for a spotty shower. I think most of us will be dry. A few isolated showers a possibility too tomorrow morning, but we'll have far greater chances to pick up some scattered showers and storms by Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. And unfortunately, pretty much what you see is what you'll be getting. Now, no one day will be a washout, but we have isolated to scattered showers and storms a possibility for the next several days. And it won't be until next Sunday that we'll finally start to dry skies out. So from now all the way through the end of the week, that rain is going to start to mount up, and we could see some significant rain. Many of us will likely pick up an inch or more rainfall before the week is over. So our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies, seasonably warm temperatures overnight, lows dropping down to about 66. Tomorrow up to 86, and tracking those thunderstorms popping up, especially during the afternoon. And then we'll have more on again, off again chances for showers and storms that will last for the rest of the week. Again, seasonable temperatures, mid to upper 80s for highs, nighttime low 60s to around 70.
You can always get the latest forecasts on our WICS weather app. The app can be found for free on Google Play and the Apple Store. Just search WICS weather. And you can also get more news delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for the newsletter over at newschannel20.com. Coming up, pushing for reform if the Massey Commission is meeting expectations since it was formed. It's been nearly a year since the Massey Commission was created in response to Sonya Massey's death.
The group was created by Springfield citizens in hopes of creating change to provide safe access to law enforcement agencies. After nearly a year of meetings and discussions to enact change, Sonya Massey says he wants to see the Massey Commission continue. He says he has mapped out a 5-year plan for the commission.
I want to present that initiative to the Massey Commission. And I know that a lot of the other commissioners would like to see it extended as well. I see this being at least a 10-year venture.
However, Donna Massey says she is dissatisfied with the work of the commission. She says she wants the commission to focus on the elimination of paid time off for officers who are placed on administrative leave during an investigation. We are also learning more about how the commission works with the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office.
According to Sheriff Paula Crouch, while representatives from the agency don't always attend meetings, her office is in communication with commission members about reforms they would like to see.
They may present an idea and I'll send back and say, well, this won't work because of this reason, or I can't do this. So we are still working together to try and make some headway.
When asked if she would like the commission to continue, Crouch tells us she doesn't have an answer and would like to see what progress they have made once the commission reaches the 1-year mark. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of News Channel 20 at 6 on the 1-year anniversary of Sonya Massey's death.
The 1-year mark also bringing us just 3 months from Sean Grayson's murder trial. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the trial itself will take place in Peoria County, but pretrial hearings leading up to it will still happen here in Sangamon County.
And of course, we will continue to bring you the very latest on both Grayson's criminal case and the efforts by Sonya's family to keep her memory alive. You can find all the latest updates along with our past stories, many that Monique has done, over on our website, newschannel20.com.
Now, one more memory that I would love to share is Miss Donna Massey told me that when Sonya was a baby. She, up into adulthood, she would always tell people like, why are you laughing if people are falling? Like, don't do that. So that's just her personality in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you at 10.